So I have a super cute top that I made using my Ankara fabric that was given to me. Let me tell you about it. I'm Mari with Mari Sews and welcome back. So you all, I made this really cute top and I'll put a picture of it here for you guys. But I am in love with this thing. It's McCall's 7985, which is actually this pattern. It's a Khalia Ali pattern and it's a winner. I love this whole little like flouncy, peplumy, I don't know what to call it, but it is nice. And that's actually the version that I made right there. That's view B. And actually, I was inspired to make this look by Natita, who is at So Natural Dane, and Kira, the Island Socialist, here on YouTube. They're hosting the Black History Month Challenge, and I feel like I just squeezed this one in right on time. This pattern has a couple of really nice details to it that I wasn't expecting. It has a forward shoulder. It also has a yoke that is lined, or self-faced, I think is what they call it. But basically, you cut two of those yokes so that way you don't have any of those seams on the inside, kind of like rubbing against your back. You know what I'm talking about? It also has a casing that goes across the front here. I don't know if you can see that. Right there, that's the casing. And you put a strap through that front and it comes out the sides and you tie it in the back. So you can cinch this around your waist and I think it makes a really flattering look. Now, of course, I used my Ankara fabric that a friend gave to me. And I was really excited to cut into this stuff. And to tell you the truth, I felt like the Ankara fabric was a really good choice for this because the backside actually comes low, so you see the wrong side of the fabric. And with Ankara fabric, it looks the same on both sides, so that's really not an issue. And actually, let me just show you right here. I'm going to flip up my end here. So this is the right side of my fabric, and then this is the wrong side. So you can see it looks the same on both sides. That little detail is also super helpful when it comes to pattern matching. So when it came time to making the strap to go through the casing in the front, let me tell you guys that it's actually something that I no longer dread. I no longer dread making straps anymore, and that's because turning those little tiny tubes isn't a problem ever since I found this video on Instagram showing me how to do it. So I'm gonna link up here to the short little video showing you how to do that little hack. While we're at it, let's talk about pattern placement. Now, you may or you may not like to do pattern matching. Some people really don't care about it. I was careful to do some pattern matching with this top. Not only that, but I was also careful to make sure that I didn't have those little orange dots landing where my nipples would be, because that would be a little disastrous. and I'm happy I was successful in that goal. So for view B, which is what I made, it's a sleeveless one, it does call for you to finish off the armholes with bias tape. And so I went ahead and I made some bias tape out of whatever I had left over from this Ankara fabric to do that. But you know, I've been struggling with my application with bias tape because there tends to be those little puckers and things like that. And so this time around, I tried out Karina's technique for bias binding. And Karina is with lifting pins and needles. So I'll make sure to link to her video in the description box below. But let me tell you, I mean, it was a slower process, but the result was so good. I'm so happy about it. I'm not sure if I still would want to do that for neck holes, but it really did give me a great, nice and flat, no puckers line all the way across the arm. Really nice. It's a really good technique, you all. So I don't think that I mentioned that this pattern actually runs from a size 8 to a 24W. And there is a ton of ease in this pattern. And I think that's actually what threw me off about it every time I looked at it in the past, was looking at her right here. She just looks a little frumpy in my opinion. And I think it's just because they put this shirt that was way too big on her. I think everything is just a little too big for her here. So when I pulled this out and decided to make it, I made sure to look at the finished measurements. Just to give you an idea here, my full bust is a 44 and my upper bust, which is right under the armpits, all the way across and around, that's 37 inches. Now, when I compare that to this pattern sizes, the size 16 is for a bust of 38, but the 22W is for a bust size of 44. Now, I know from experience that if I do that 22W, it's going to be too big overall because the fullness is in my bust and not in my shoulders or anywhere else. So if I were to do that 22W size, I would end up with super big armholes. The shoulders would hang over. I mean, I would look a little frumpy. So I decided to do the 16 because the finished measurement on a size 16 at the bust line is 50.5. So I decided that's plenty of room to accommodate my bust. And because I can cinch it in with a tie around the waist, I had no qualms with going in with that size. And honestly, I think it was the right decision. This pattern does have a button placket down the front where you put in 3 different buttons. Because there's only 3 buttons there, it's kind of hard to place them so that you don't get any gaping. And so my little trick for that is I pull out the Wonder Tape, which is a double-sided tape, and I just tape where that gap is, and I don't even worry about it because it's washable and it dissolves in the wash. So I don't even have to sit there and try to peel it off when this thing goes to the wash. It's good to go as is. So if you have garments that are in your closet that you've made or that you haven't, try using some Wonder Tape on that. Trust me, it's going to do the trick for you. So let's talk about this really fun fabric now. So as you all already know, I was given this beautiful Ankara fabric by a friend, and sewing it up, in the back of my head, I knew that the designs that are used to make Ankara fabrics have meaning to them. And so I decided to look up the meaning of this really cute fabric. And in Ghana, this fabric is actually called water well. And the reason why it's called water well is because if you dip into the water, it creates a bunch of ripples that come out, right? And so all of these little dots are the ripples, and they get larger as they get to the edges. How cool is that? Not only is the actual pattern on the fabric called water well, but there is a proverb that's associated with the pattern itself. And it goes something along the lines of, your actions, good or bad, affect everyone around you. Now that's something to really kind of sit back and meditate on. In Nigeria, they call this pattern record disc because it looks like a vinyl record. And they're right. All in all, I feel like this pattern came together very quickly and was kind of a refreshing sew. I mean, it wasn't the most basic item that I could make up, but the instructions were still really clear, easy to follow along, and I had no issues putting this thing together. It was a really good sew. If you watch out for all of the extra ease that's in this pattern and choose your size appropriately, I think this one's a winner hands down. On a scale of 1 to 5, I would rate this one a 4.5. I think it's really good. And I think that if you're looking for a shirt that's longer in the back, shorter in the front, has some really cute details, this is a good pattern for that. So that's my review of McCall's 7985. If you learned anything or picked up a tip or two, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell so that way you know the next time that there's a new video. And until next time, I sincerely hope that you find joy and have a wonderful day. Bye.